You may have seen this video. It is a black nationalist religious group. And after Shiloh decided that she was going to do what she did, these guys decided to go out, I don't know, probably over 100 of them, and menacingly chant at a playground in a community where it is all white or almost all white, to intimidate, terrorize, terrify the whites there. That means that these guys are anti-white, doesn't it? And you have a cuckservative here, and this is a great example. The most prototypical conservative white guy who is a abject coward but plays tough, thinking that he is going to take from anti-whites their conclusions, the story that they are in, thinking he can rewrite it stupidly. And this is what white people have been doing for generations. And we still are faced with white people doing the exact same thing today, thinking that it's going to work, even though it's never worked. This guy calls himself dedicated as F dad. And that's incoming.
Yeah, look at these white people.
If we were a united people, just look at the responses from whites who see this, and you want to know, you want to see the evidence of why we are in the state that we are in. Just look at their responses. They'll be saying Ners. They'll be saying this isn't about race. They'll be saying anything but what's productive, constructive. That's why we are here.
Scared.
All right, here we go. Take a look at this guy. Totally even has the look. Prototypical American dad. And look, I'm going to tell you, and he's going to be bumptious as all shit, right? You know these people. Going to be in your face. He's going to put his chest up in your face. He's going, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to tell, and he's going to talk louder than you and over you to tell you what needs to be done, even though his dumb coward ass has no clue. He's just repeating what has failed for generations. You cannot, cuckservatives out there, you cannot take the definition of racism away from anti-whites and say, oh no, I'm going to stubbornly say it's about anybody. Anybody can be racist. You've been trying to do that for generations. It hasn't worked. You cannot tell them that when they're saying it's about race, and B, you can't go tell them that it's not about race. You cannot succeed with that. You cannot say that your handicap or can I use your handicap of not being able to see color as a defense. It hasn't worked ever. Please, white race, stop being so dumb. We don't have a lot more time before the point of no return. We've got plenty of time before there are no more white people. That's not the point that we're concerned with. We're not looking out over the next 1,000 years to the very last white person ever. We're looking much closer, much more of an intermediate future for the point of no return. So watch this guy fulfill perfectly, like every cuck position and manifestation, presentation. He's got the big beard. He's got the he's got big chest, big traps. Undoubtedly, this fool would be in your face, talking over you. Let me tell you what we're going to do about, you don't know what you're talking. That's just racist bullshit. Race doesn't have anything to do with this. Fuck you, doughboy. And that's why one of his 5 white kids is has kind of a yellowy skin and slanty eyes.
Okay, this is a bunch of men doing what I think is something wrong. So as a man, I'm going to address this. And
okay, there you have it right off at the beginning. This is a bunch of men. And I'm a man. And we're coming together. These are not men. These are anti-white terrorists. There are white children there, you fucking see. There are white children there and white mothers and lip white guys that are terrorized by these anti-white bastards. My God.
Also, I'm going to address this as a parent because those people decided to incorporate a bunch of parents and their very young children into their video. So I'm going to speak on that as a man and as a parent. So let's get into this.
Okay. As a man and as a parent, he's going to speak there. He's setting the ground rules that we're all one people. And I don't know if he says here, but maybe it's we're all one. We're all the same under Christ. Fuck you with that. If we were all the same, God would have made us all the same, dipshit. And they're men. And I'm a man, so I'm going to tell them how to be. Why would you give them that title? They're going to call you white boy. Oh, but I'm taking the high road here. I'm taking the high road, Jason. I know how to handle them here. You don't know how to handle them down here. I'm taking the high road when it comes to these people. I'm going to show them how a man should actually behave, and then they'll come away. They'll come away from that behavior, that duplicity. They'll come away from that childishness. Shut the fuck up. Start yourself.
Okay, genuine question, gentlemen. Why did you decide to show up in mass numbers directly across from a playground and then do some type of loud, aggressive showing of intimidation and direct it right at parents and children?
No, white. They decided to show up there because they're violently anti-white. That's why. You know, this guy could probably be a totally epic hero, white champion, man of the West. He probably could be if he can come away from this cuck behavior. That's the question, though. And you're not going to be able to get a big white guy like this to come away from this cuck behavior by pussyfooting with it. You got to call him out for being a pussy.
We're on a playground. Why did you decide to stand on a hill and do this directly at a bunch of innocent kids and their parents trying to have a peaceful day?
It's just kids and their parents. So do you see the conservative trope here? This makes no sense. It's illogical. Why would you just intimidate kids and parents? What is it about the abstraction of children and parents that they don't like?
Hey, when you could have taken this shit somewhere else and done it man to man in front of other men. If you really want to get some type of point across or aggression out or intimidation,
they'll come do it man to man to you, and they'll whoop your white ass into the ground. Do you know why? Because they will show up with racial pride and racial strength. And you and your white ass will be there all alone. No other white guys are going to stand with you. And no multiracial crew is going to have the bonds that a proud race does. How much evidence do you need, Cupcake? So you're going to get you'll be destroyed by them. And the reason why a bunch of other white guys are not going to show up with you and put an end to this anti-white terrorism is because of the arguments that you are making. Can you imagine? This guy's a father. He's in his house after a long day at work, probably a truck driver or something like this. And he goes home to his middle-class home, and the wife that browbeats him probably, and he sits down in the easy chair and then lectures the white children about how they have to ignore race, not see race, no matter how much the anti-whites are attacking you and our people because we're white. And then, so what's the reality of what this guy actually does? He doesn't confront. Those black guys are not going to show up at some sort of meeting place for men to have a conversation. Are you fucking insane? How fucking stupid? No, you know what this guy's going to do? He's going to white flight his white family right out of there. As soon as it gets too bad, as soon as these ideas, or as the defense against our victimization, inflict, as a result of those ideas, too much damage on the area where he lives, he'll just leave. He'll leave. And you know what he'll do? He and his wife? They'll move right to a white area, or the whitest area they can, and then they'll say, we're here for the schools. We're here because there's more civility. We're here because there's less crime. Why is it more civil? Why is there less crime? Why are the schools better? Why is it safer? Oh, well, because the people around here pledge themselves to abstractions. You.
Factor out. You, as a bunch of men, could have gone to town hall, city square, your governor's office, state representative's office, and done this in front of a bunch of men.
Okay. Do you remember? What year was it? Somebody pull up in the live chat the year that the Black Panthers went into the one of the government buildings in, what was it, California, or what state was it, with rifles, semi-automatic rifles. A lot before he was born, probably. So they're doing that too. They keep stomping the white balls off the side of your bald head, buddy.
But you didn't. You purposely chose a place that had women, children, and parents who were trying to have a peaceful day, and then you recorded them without their permission or consent.
Okay. That's really Claudine Gay. You're allowed to film anyone in public. You don't need consent. So it's another, he's just looking for anything else other than race. They were attacking parents, the abstraction of parents and the abstraction of children, and the abstraction of whether or not it's legal to record without consent. Oh, it's not about race. It's anything but. This is the vast majority of our people are this guy. The vast majority of the guys, of white guys, are this guy right here. The vast majority of far more. You online, you see a sliver of our race. And most of those, and we'll talk about it, the vast majority, far more than we realize, and it just keeps getting worse, are like the worst of our people. The people who are dweebs, the people who don't work, the people who are antisocial, the people who have bitch jobs, and honor to all jobs if you're working for a living, whatever it is. But you know what I mean. They clock in and they clock out, and they're brain dead as they can be while they're there. And they immediately get back on their phone to be some sort of Aryan superhero online. And they bring all of their low IQ, all of their bad character, all of their bad ways. They make up the majority of people on social media in most circles. The hundreds of millions of our people are this guy. It's this guy. These are the ones we need to start saying anti-white, anti-whiteism. And more importantly, it's not even the guys, it's their wives, it's their daughters. Because The women preserve things. The men will go out and fight. The women preserve. So if we get the white women saying anti-whiteism, anti-white, if we get white women talking about our meme curatives of today, once we're a minority, minority rights are the thing of the past. Women won't forget it. If we get white women talking about, you call it being negative and I call it being responsible, it will be preserved. It's their wives we have to get to. It's their daughters. It's their mothers. There are hundreds of millions. Look at this guy. He's got a clean t-shirt on. I guarantee you he has his tools lined up. The majority of these misfits online are in basements and it's filthy. And instead of washing their clothes, they just buy new clothes.
And then tried to make fun of them on the internet by saying, bunch of race has nothing to do with it.
So he quoted what they said in order to tell you that race has nothing to do with it. This is the person that I'm referencing. When I said white people will have their daughter being gang raped right in front of them, and the gang rapist, the anti-white gang rapist, will be saying, we're doing this because you're white, because she's white, because we hate white people. And this guy will stand there and say, no, I don't see race. This has nothing to do with racism. This has to do with the abstraction of lawlessness. This has to do with the abstraction of the breakdown of the family home. This has to do with the abstraction of, and specifically, he'll be talking about like the breakdown of the Hispanic family home and the Arab family home and the Black family home. And then he'll be concerning himself with what we can do to improve their living conditions, to improve their families. And then he'll cite how we are responsible for their families not being white families, tip-top condition, just like white families. So he quoted them just to look dead in the eye. Look at this guy. Looking you dead in the eye to tell you it ain't about race.
With this, you were a bunch of cowardly men that showed up to try and hold some type of intimidation protest, and you did it right at parents and their young children. You take race completely out of this situation. You look at it as it is. A bunch of men are trying to intimidate women, children, and dads who are innocent on a playground.
Women, children, and dads. Look, he's asking here, why do these men need to do this to people at a playground? So I'm going to write, I called your white ass out on my stream.
And they have done nothing wrong, and then you're videotaping them for your own satisfaction to try and make it out like they're pathetic, scared.
They were scared bitches, and they have every right to be. And they're scared because there is no white defender class. There is no white group of heroes standing up to stop this from happening. They're scared because they're so-called heroes. This guy probably benches 400 pounds. They're scared because the guy who benches 400 pounds won't look reality in the face. He won't talk about how this is anti-whiteism. He firmly believes, he looked you right in the eye to tell you it has nothing to do with race. Well, pal, it has everything to do with race.
This is cowardly behavior by men, and this is why I'm calling it out. This is behavior by men. Men, if you want to say something, if you want to protest something, if you want to get some frustration.
So it's just about the abstraction of cowardly behavior. And of course, what is the behavior we're talking about here that he is measuring theirs by? It's our norm, you dipshit. It's our norm that you are measuring them by. So you just made it about race. Do you think that the norm that you are measuring them against came from pixie dust? Do you think it came from Mars? Do you think there was a big, at some point in antediluvian times, that there was a multiracial council of all the races of men came together on planet Earth, and we sat in the around a giant what would be in the middle of it, a monster truck in antediluvian times, and we all debated about what a man should be, and we came to a multiracial conclusion? No. Those are our standards for what it means to be a man that you are measuring these anti-white blacks by. So you just made it about race.
Out or whatever this is, you go do it to other men and you get in there.
Okay. That ain't going to happen. So he's big and tough. He's telling them, you go do it to other men. It ain't going to happen. And if they did come to do it to you, they would stomp the living shit out of you.
Faces, because they will actually push back. They won't take those parents and their young children aren't going to do anything, and you knew that. That's why you showed up to do that and record it where you did.
Do you remember when they were marching through towns in Georgia? I don't know if it was this group or this group and another group, and they had firearms, and all the white men didn't do anything. I wonder why. I bet you stayed inside your house, buddy, or the equivalent, your equivalent in Georgia. I bet you stayed quiet and inside your house. I bet you listened to your white wife. I bet she said, don't you dare even think about looking out the window when they go by. And he said, yes, ma'am.
Did. This is pathetic, cowardly behavior by
the pathetic, cowardly behavior is this guy.
And I can't stand it. These men need to do better. Let me know your thoughts.
Do better, anti-white black nationalists. Do better. That'll work when they are gang raping your wife and your daughter, and they, just like they're doing to us in South Africa, and they lead your white ass up to the guillotine. You're going to be able to say, do better. Be a man by our standards. How about this? Talking about South Africa. Anti-White Vilification League tweeted this. Listen to this white woman who, because of the Cuckservative thinking, which, by the way, folks, don't think that it's any different for us in South Africa. I have been trying to appeal to our brothers and sisters in South Africa for a long time, and I have had them say the most Cuckservative things. How do you think that you get to the state that they are in without being white guilted, Cuckservatives? How do you think? They didn't come together as a people, as a race. They didn't get out of the anti-white narrative like the rest of the white race around the world. We are all victimized by this. So, because we in South Africa, like this guy right here, because there are tons of guys just like that in South Africa, this white woman, are you surprised? This guy's equivalent in South Africa, saying to the anti-whites in South Africa, hey, do better. If you got a problem, then come and say it to a man. Okay, like 1950s kind of tough talk. Shut up. Yeah. So saying this, come and say it to a man. Do better, anti-white black nationalists in South Africa. Do better. Well, because those were your tools, clown. Because those were your tools. This woman and her fiancé were at their home that they had made into a fortress. I actually gave a speech on what this woman is about to say, the word she used, building cages for us to live inside of. I gave a speech in Richmond about that. All of these, because I drew the parallel to all of these white cucks in America that say, well, not in they come to my house. They finally come to my house. I'm going to show them what for. You know how many guns I have? You know how much ammo I bought? Where's mama? Show them how much ammo I have. They come to my house. I finally going to put it down. I ain't going to put up for it when they come to my house. Really? Are you going to get around on that walker? Really? What about that hernia that hernia that's sticking 3 feet out of your gut? What about that? Is that going to inhibit your valiant defense? So I told at a speech in Richmond many years ago to other white people who were too dumb to listen to intelligence and to valor, like they are today, so many of them. I said, do we all want to live in our own cages? Because that's what our houses become. They were all, at the time, there was so much talk about how to fortify your house. I said, you all will be dead before they actually begin busting through the houses in America. What are you bothering for? Use the money to get yourself one of those chubby choppers instead. Fortify your house. So build a prison. So they built a prison. They built a cage to live in. And the anti-whites get in anyhow. And they savagely raped this beautiful white woman and murdered her fiancé in front of her. Are you done? Are you done blaming other races? Are you done being a cuck and pretending like race has nothing to do with it? If you're not, listen to the agonizing words of this white woman.
Dear South Africans, 24 days ago, we had a home invasion. My fiancé was murdered and I was wounded 6 times. The way I'm feeling right now, this country is going to shit. Now my question is when will South Africans start standing up when we have a minimum of 3 people dying per hour that is being murdered?
Okay, I want you to hear, I have to stop because I got to jump in. This is like tearing my fucking heart out of my chest. I'm not thinking about blacks at all. And you shouldn't either. You should be thinking only about, this woman is speaking from pure, unadulterated horror. This white sister of ours. I want you to pay attention too to what she just said. The country is going to shit. It's getting worse. It's going to fall apart. We've all been hearing that in the West forever. This is the same, coming from the same conservative starting point. It is a story. She is reciting what cuckservative content creators are saying. We have got to stop this. We've got to stop employing what fails and start focusing on us. And we've got to do it in every Western country before this is all of our mothers and sisters and daughters. And the dead fiancé is all of our fathers and sons and cousins.
And nothing is being done to protect our South Africans. And my fiancé was extremely brave, and he had protected me with his life. And my question to you is, when does the crime affect your household? When does it become your family members that gets murdered?
Okay, so there you have. This is the cry, the forlorn, mournful cry of an individual without a people. The guy we just watched, he doesn't care. The cuckservative notion, this isolated, selfish individualism where we're never being attacked on the basis of our race, this is the results of that notion. When are you going to stand up for our people? Only when it finally gets to your house. That's how we've been getting picked off and losing everything. Our dignity, our integrity, our countries, our sanity, that will never end under the prescriptions of the past. Pretend like it has nothing to do with race and we're just individualists. And the other prescription, which is blame the blacks or blame the Jews and talk endlessly bad about them. She is your result. Six anti-white animals broke through their fortress. And this white man has to stand as the solo lion. This idiotic notion of the white race. That white guys are going to stand up by themselves and defeat the opposition. 6 lowly scum he stood up against. Is that enough? I don't want more stories. I don't want one more story of my husband, my fiance, my son, whatever it is, stood up valiantly and was butchered. And then the woman gang raped by anti-white monsters. If this ain't enough, you are such a fucking misfit.
And why are we not taking action to start putting an end to this crime? Now, it's all great that you watch the good feel stuff on TikToks and Facebook and all of that, but guys, it's time for a reality check. Regardless of what you do, if criminals want in, they will get in.
So I want all of the tough talking, anti-black, anti-Jew, race has nothing to do with it, people. I want you to hear very carefully from reality, because she is speaking like a goddess right now to your stupidity. There is no fortress that is going to stop this. There is no cravening out into some desolate part of our countries that is going to stop this. There's no cravening out into the hills of Bolivia that is going to prevent this from happening to all of us. Only peoplehood for the white race will put an end to this.
Regardless of the measures that you put in to protect yourself and your household, it's still not enough. And the sad reality of this is why are we living in cages while our criminals are running around, killing, murdering, stealing, raping, and we all just accepting it? I would like to have people start sharing the news of others. 24 days, not a local newspaper has put anything in on this murder. How many other crimes are we not hearing of?
So there you have it. She doesn't know about the Go Free method. She doesn't know. I mean, she's reaching out into the void at straws about if we just share the news, it should be enough. Darling, it's not enough. I wish it were. If sharing the news about how bad things are for white people, about how we're being butchered, gang raped, having our heads cut off in front of our loved ones, how we have anti-white hiring practices, ruining whole lineages of white families that have crawled their way out of the dust bowls across the West, crawled their way out of unspeakable poverty to finally have a little something that we can pass down to each of our generations. And it's all being obliterated in just a couple of generations with anti-white hiring practice. I wish just sharing the news was enough. The news would be enough if we were a people. If this were happening to black people, they only need fiction. They need fictionalized reality. And they come together. If it's happening, if there's any news of anything negative happening for Jews, they come together. The missing element here is peoplehood. Yes, we need to share the horror stories of what's happening. And we need to communicate the concepts that liberate our people from the chains of anti-whiteism. But I want you to see, this is the consequence of those ideologies. This is the consequence of those vehicles. This is the consequence of those approaches. And when you see individuals, especially online, where you're going to find most of the misfits of our race, when you see them dismiss the Go Free dialogic, when you see them demand that we continue to pursue the failed strategies, you are witnessing people that for their own selfish gratification of revenge porn or whatever it is, welcome this.